Hi, my name's Charles Bann. I'm 44 years old. I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu athlete. I'm also a professional men's physique competitor. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I am your everyday guy just chasing his dreams. And this is my story. So I grew up in San Diego, California. I was one of 3 children. My father was gone most of my life. He was in the military, and he's probably gone, 6 months out of the year, if not more. So I was basically raised by my mom. Starting out life, she was a single mother with just me and my sister. So life, I wouldn't say was the easiest. I had a lot of struggles, a lot of growing pains, and also grew up in a very abusive family, which didn't help. And it took me a long time to process that through life. I'm 44 years old now, but understanding what my mom did and why she did it, and you always think about those things of, did she love me? Did she not love me? What was it all about? And it created problems for me, as I became like a teenager, because I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. Everything, was with a fist or through violence, and the area that I grew up, that was just kind of the way it is. I mean, you saw it in everybody's family. It was single moms, kids, some had dads that were part-time dads, and that was kind of like how I was. So the only real father figure that I had was like my grandfather, at that time. And he was also kind of brought up in that era. He grew up on the streets, in the Great Depression. He was hustling when he was 16 years old, and that was my learning experience. But what I could say that was positive in all that is I came from a hard-working family. My mom worked 2 jobs to support us. She leaned on my grandfather. He always worked. There was nobody was looking, for anything for free. So that was instilled in me at a very young age. And as I, started developing, as a teenager, I had a lot of missteps, along the way. I think one of the biggest key events that happened to me is I was at a party and I was not doing the right things. I was there for the wrong reasons. And me and my friends, we got in a fight and I got stabbed. And during that time in the hospital, I spent 40 days in the hospital. Most of it was in ICU. I had a lot of time to reflect on my life. I was 17 at that time, and my parents, they didn't know how to deal with it. Their way of dealing with it is to get rid of the problem. So they kicked me out. So I was homeless at 17. I had a car. I slept in my car for several weeks until one of my friends, decided to take me in. And this was kind of all of my reflection and the things that I was looking at leading up to my experiences. And I knew then that, hey, if I don't change my direction or my life, it's not gonna end up well for me.